Hey everybody, it's Mark, Dr. Shirtless, and I'm here to do my most recent vinyl finds. It's been a while since I've done one. We've had a lot of stuff going on. As some people knew, there was an imminent death in the family, and so now there has been a death in the family, and I was just kind of away with that and family and stuff. So now I'm back. I'm just going to have a nice Creemore Springs Keller beer. One of my favorite beers, by far. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so I got a stack of records here because I did get to do some vinyl shopping. I've actually been really lucky lately. Not just here. I got about maybe 70 things 100 things in the past 3 months, and I probably have like 15 grails. So I've just been really happy about the kind of stuff I've been finding. So let's get right to it. First is Etc. Etc. are a French-Canadian prog act. I've been looking for this for a couple of years, and here it is. That's the label. Fantastic prog. Beninsky came over one day and we hung out for a little while and listened to a bit of music, and then we went and did some record shopping, and this is one of the things I found the day that I was out with him. And I have been looking for this record for years. $10 I got this for, total steal. The lyrics are in French, so I don't know if it's a little twee lyrically or not, but musically this is fantastic. Prog. Some violin in it. It's just great. Just typical French-Canadian prog masterpiece. Just wow. So happy I found that. Next is one I picked up. Just Alan Holdsworth. You know, he's a hell of a guitarist. This is Holdsworth on CTI. His first record. And I'd never heard this. I didn't know what exactly it was like, but standard CTI label. I bought it, I bought a lot of CTI lately. CTI is an amazing label, but as we all know, Creed Taylor can really get his fingers in the mix and just make it a syrupy, sappy, stringy nightmare. And I was a little worried because this is 76, so it's kind of past the heyday of CTI. This is like a lot of the artists like Freddie Hubbard and stuff who'd done like masterpieces early in the days of CTI. I had left CTI by then, and Holdsworth was one of like a second string of top quality musicians that he had signed, and I didn't know what the hell he was going to do to this record, and he did nothing to it. This is a fusion masterpiece. This is great record, and you can find this for like $6 or $7. Amazing. Next is Donald Fagen, The Nightfly. I picked this up because this is on the standard tan Warner. I picked this up because it's Donald Fagen. It's a great album. I think I might have shown this one previously, but this is a double RL. It has master disc RL on both sides, and EDP in an oval. I'm pretty sure this is maybe not very first pressing, but part of the first run of pressings. This has monstrously luscious sound. Brilliant soundscapes in this. Fagen and brain fart. The other guy in Steely Dan. I mean, they were totally all about sound, and this is just a continuation of that same attention to detail. Unfortunately, the vinyl, it's from 82, so you get into that era where the vinyl's clean, it sounds great, except there's these odd little bubble, like not a bubble, like a little bump or a little ridge, like a little raised section, and it kind of thumps as it goes over that, which is unfortunate, or this would be just the absolute keeper copy. So still on the lookout for this, but until then, this sounds gorgeous, and it's amazing music. I mean, if you're going to be a hater about Steely Dan or Donald Fagen, I can't help you. Next, this was something I didn't know about, just picked up on a whim. This is Marion McPartland, A Delicate Balance. Now, Marion McPartland was, she's still around. She's just a phenomenal jazz pianist. She has had just stopped her show, but she had a show on NPR. I think it's the longest running show on NPR. For like, I think 40 or 50 years she did a show on NPR called Marion McPartland's Piano Jazz, and she would do duets with all kinds of people. I don't think she gets enough credit as a musician. She's a fucking hell of a piano player, and she has this amazing ability to play almost anything. So I picked this up, and I didn't know what it was going to be. I just heard her on her radio show, but it really interested me because it was signed by her there. So, and this is fantastic. This is amazing music. And it's all excellent until she gets to the last song, which is God Bless the Child. And I find that God Bless the Child is a very hard, for me, it's a really hard song to hear people cover after listening to Billie Holiday, who introduced me to that song. It kind of introduced me to jazz years ago. She was one of the first jazz things I ever really paid attention to. And so when anybody else tries to do God Bless the Child, I always compare it to her, and it always kind of falls short. Except Keith Jarrett's God Bless the Child doesn't fall short, and Marion McPartland's God Bless the Child is phenomenal. So I cannot recommend this high enough. Now this is on. See if I can figure out how to show it. Yeah, this is on Halcyon. Now Halcyon is a label that she started in like 1968, 69. I'll show the label here. And one of the interesting things that I discovered when I looked at the record was that, I don't know if I can get it to show, but in the Deadwax on this record is, there it is GK. And that stands for Gilbert Kong. He's a phenomenal mastering engineer, is Gilbert Kong. He did a lot of the really early Rush stuff. This record came out in 1973, so it makes sense that his name is on there. And that could be another reason why this record sounds so phenomenal. Because great musicianship and great mastering make amazing records. So, unfortunately, side one of this has... You ever get these records where they look really clean and they got some little scuffs and stuff on them, and you take them home and you play them and you're like, should play fine, and they play perfectly and you can never hear anything. And then you get these records where they get a couple little scuffs on them, and this ticks like a son of a bitch the whole way through the first side. And it's the most distracting, annoying, stray ticks and pops and everything. So I'm looking for if anybody ever sees this record and you have no interest in it, Marion McPartland, A Delicate Balance. I don't give a shit about the cover because I have the signed cover, but I would like a really clean playing copy of this. But however, I recommend you buy this for yourself instead of for me, because it's a great record. And don't be afraid to buy any of her records if you see them. Next is, I think I paid $8 for that. I paid $2 for the Nightfly, $5 for the Alan Holdsworth. Next is Marillion. I paid $5 for this. This is a German gatefold pressing. Released, made the same year, but I think it's a second pressing. I think the first German pressing wasn't a gatefold, and the second German was. They both came out in '83. And this is on EMI, like a yellow EMI. This is just perfect pressing, and oddly it has jumps in it in Garden Party, and I'm sure all you Marillion fans would know how well disconcerting it is to have a few jumps in Garden Party. Never heard this record until I played it the first time, and it's phenomenal. This is a brilliant album. I can see why people say, if you want to get in a Marillion, Script for a Jester's Tear. Next is another masterpiece, Harvey Mandel, Righteous. This is from '69, a couple years after his first big popular record, and several years before The Snake. This is on Phillips. This is an original pressing. It's on the black Phillips with the rainbow. And my copy's really clean and gorgeous. And I gotta say, this is a phenomenal record. It has all kinds of weird moods. I mean, the guitar playing is brilliant on it. There's some times where there's some vocals on it which are just a little kind of weak, to say it politely. And hell, I'll put that later. I don't waste your time. But side 2, it starts with this song called Summer Sequence, which is kind of like a little Hawaiian, and you're just like, oh, what's going wrong here? And it just, you just think, oh my god, this is. And then side 2 just builds and builds and builds until it gets to the last song, Campus Blues, which just is fucking phenomenal. So the weak points in this record almost make the strong points even more powerful. I've listened to this a few times. I've been blown away with it. I can't get enough of it. Cannot recommend this enough. Harvey Mandel, Righteous. Yeah, I got that for $6. Next is a record I was really... I'm on a kick for this guy, and I've bought about 10 of his things recently. I'll be showing them as I play them. And I had high hopes for this record. This is Hugh Masekela's next album. This is from 1966 on... It's on the MGM label. And 1966 on MGM. This is an original, still in shrink. The copy's pretty good. It's got a few scratches that tick the odd time. I was really hoping for big things from this record. I've heard a couple of his later things, and they're just great. This record, he does like covers. California Dreamin', Little Star, It's Not Unusual, Norwegian Wood, If I Needed Someone, Along Comes Mary, Sounds of Silence. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. It didn't have... it didn't work. It didn't have enough spirit or something. I can't quite say what was missing. It was a little too... maybe as a poppy kind of thing it was okay, but it's not a great record. It's listenable. It's just kind of... Next is a Blue Note. This is Doing a Thing. Blue Note stereo. New York, USA address. Now, I have this lovely book I got from Blake. And according to this book, this is not a first pressing. And that's a good thing, because I paid $4 for this. It was a little scratched. I always take a chance on these, and this is just trounced. You could not endure this. This would only be good if you played it like as background music in a bar with about 600 people talking, because this is a crackly, ticky motherfucker. Music's fantastic. Definitely want to find a better copy. Anybody wants a really horrible copy, let me know. But honestly, that thing is unlistenable. Next is the Electrifying Eddie Harris. I've been getting, I love these Atlantic jazz from the mid to late 60s. Fantastic period. I think the stuff on Atlantic is being totally overlooked by jazz fans, fanatics, historians, aficionados. This is a two-color stereo. This is great music. The more I listen to Eddie Harris, the more I'm totally impressed with him. And I think his Atlantic period, it's really strong. I can't, I recommend this record to anybody who wants to check it out. Next, Keith Jarrett Cole concert. This is a standard, a classic. This is a German pressing. I've had a couple of these. I've had the Robert Ludwig, which everybody says is great, sounds like total garbage. the man is a great mastering engineer, but he cannot master ECM records. I've had an early US pressing, which sounds great. It's what I have. It's really quiet. This is a German pressing. Fortunately, it's really, it doesn't like tick. It doesn't have any scratches or repeats, but it's really crackly. So it's got a lot of noise. But this is the best sounding as far as the soundscape that's created by the record. This is the best sounding one I have, but unfortunately it'd be nice if it was dead quiet too. Next is Joyride, Stanley Turrentine, Blue Note. That colon was $5. This is a micro groove mono New York USA pressing. This is not super clean. It's a little scratched up and stuff. It has a few moments that are kind of approaching unlistenable, and then it has parts of it that are just fantastic. And according to my trusty book, this is a first pressing, so without the book I wouldn't have known that. So thank you very much again, Blake. I paid $2.99 for that, so I mean it's not Nearman, it's not VG plus, it's not VG, it's VG minus. It was $3. I mean, $3 original Blue Note. Until I can find a better copy, this will have to do. But you know, I've heard the music. I'll definitely be looking for a better copy of that. Next, another grail for me, Neil Young, first album. This is a Canadian pressing. I'm not entirely sure if the Canadian pressing didn't have Neil Young at the top. I know the first US pressing, the artwork goes all the way to the top and it doesn't say Neil Young. I'm not sure about the Canadian, if that was the same here or not, but I don't really care. I'm just thrilled. This is a grail for me because this is this is I think a second Canadian pressing. I think the first was a 2-color Reprise logo. This is, you know, the single color, but this is this was made at the Smith Falls RCA plant, and I collect records that were made at the Smith Falls RCA plant because they sound fucking amazing. This is where the Canadian Red Atlantics were made, and this record sounds amazing. So I don't really want first pressing because this is exactly what I'm looking for when I'm looking for Canadian LPs from this period. Great music. If he hadn't done another record, I think we'd all be talking about this one. I mean, the man's put out a million records since then, and he even did Landing on Water. But this is a giant that just kind of maybe doesn't get talked about enough because he did so many great records after that. But cannot recommend this enough. Another great find for me. This is a weird one. This is Pollution, and unfortunately I didn't really get to listen to this record because it has a warp in it that is a really unusual warp. But I'll show the record anyway. It's kind of bluesy, not bluesy, R&B. Damn good beer. Kind of soul R&B, rock, kind of that sound, but it's got this weird warp in it here that is kind of like just a slight impression in the record, and it makes the needle jump. So usually that's a rim warp that'll kind of make things jump and then it calms down, but this gets worse as it gets to the middle. I have a friend with a machine that flattens records, so I'm going to take that to him and see if we can get it flattened and see if it sounds any good. But what I heard of this was pretty amazing. I'd definitely be looking for another copy of this. And it's got a really interesting cover on it. The little bird. So, Pollution. And next is Budgie, first record. This is interesting. I picked this up because it's a sample copy. Now, unfortunately, this I guess has dates of the radio stations this was given to, WNIA. This is on Cap Records. And Budgie are kind of like a hard rock band, kind of like early Sabbath. They kind of, I don't really like the metal or the, the hard rock too much, but I like the really early stuff, and I actually kind of really like this. This is just a total blind buy for me, but here's the label on cap. Oops, that's upside down. Here's the label on cap, Budgie. Now it's a promo copy, but the actual label doesn't say that. And this sounds really good. Sounds monstrous, actually. It's got some really cool grooves in it. Unfortunately, it's got a few spots that are a little bit crappy. It's got a couple little scratches, so I'm looking for a better copy. But I was really happy to find this. This is actually worth a bit of coin, which kind of surprised me how much it was worth. But, and I got that for like $8, so to get a sample promo thing of that for $8 was pretty good. And we're at 21 minutes, and I'm just about done. I'm going to finish these. I was going to stop if it got too long, but nobody watches these things except the very beginning and the end, so I'm just talking to myself. Finally, or next is Mind Garage. Wow. This is a motherfucker. This is a monster. This is brilliant music. This is a kind of psych rock band. Most famous for creating the first rock liturgy kind of mass kind of thing. They were performing it in churches and everywhere, and they got signed to RCA. This is on RCA. And this is their first album from 1969. This is not a rock liturgy album. This is a psych rock album. This is fantastic. I was blown away by how amazing this was. I mean, my copy's pooch, but I paid like $3 for this. I couldn't not buy this. This is fantastic music. If you see Mind Garage, grab it. Who cares what the cover's like, people? Don't miss the music. Next is a fantastic, blew me away record. Another great record. This is Don Cherry. This is self-titled. This is on Horizon. This is kind of a, I don't know how, I think people call this spiritual jazz. I think that's the pigeonhole this thing's crammed into. And I don't really care, because it's just fantastic. I bought this, I listened to it, and I was just fucking blown away. This is a monster. This is a true monster. This is the label, Horizon. And it's one of these Unipack sleeves, but again, it has this kind of great jazz, slightly African, slightly fusiony, mid-70s kind of wonderfulness. I got this for $15. They had two of them. I should have bought both of them. I can check if they're still there if anybody wants one of these. Just send me a PM, let me know. But wow, I think I posted about this in the YouTube Facebook community, and Tony said that he picked it up recently and he loved it too. And that's really cool that I just joined that YouTube Facebook community, and it's amazing. Lots of fun, lots of dialogue and banter, and people shooting off what they're playing, and people commenting on them, and sharing thoughts on music and stuff like that. It's really good, and people are really friendly. I've made lots of friends there. I've only had one person ignore my friend request, so that's kind of cool. And finally, total grail, total fucking monster grail. I could not. I went out. I dropped my wife off for dinner one night. I didn't want to go with her and her friends, and there's a record store down there, and this record store sucks. So I went there with Spud Boy. And then I went to another record store that him and I went to that was pretty good. and I dug through the entire vinyl section. I was just fucking exhausted when I was done, but it was worth it because I found this Sagen om Ringen. This is Bo Hansen's Lord of the Rings, but this is the first Swedish pressing on Silence. Stone Cold Near Mint. Just perfect. Plays perfectly. A little bit of crackle. No ticks, no pops, no nothing. A little bit of tape on the cover. No inner sleeve. Total. I mean, this is a grail. I've asked Jonas to try and find this for me. I think he's been looking for it for like 6 or 7 months. I'm like, if you ever find it, just buy it and I'll pay whatever it costs. And I found this in town for $15. I couldn't believe it. I went back to the car and I was picking up my wife, and I was like a fucking kid. I was so excited, and everybody that she was with thought I was geeking out. But anyway, and I'd never heard this, and it is fantastic music. So, and to find that first pressing, this is a true grail for me. I wanted the first two from the first two Swedish pressings. So to find Bo Hansen's Sagen om Ringen locally was just amazing. So anyway, that's everything. It's good to be back, and I hope everybody's been doing well. I've been trying to watch videos when I was away and stuff, and I saw a lot of videos. I've tried to comment on the ones I did see. If anybody addressed anything specifically to me or had any questions in their videos and I never got back to you, it's because I didn't see it. And just shoot me a PM and tell me which video you want me to watch, and if you needed help with anything, let me know. Anyway, cheers, have a great day, keep the record spinning.